So we've seen something with the Golden State Warriors where the Warriors are getting a lot of technicals this year. The San Antonio Spurs were good for years. They don't got a lot of technicals. They didn't get a lot of technicals. They never get players ejected. I don't think the Spurs have had a guy ejected in like 3 years. Like the Spurs are a fairly egoless organization. To me, technical fouls are all about ego. That's what technical fouls are. Greg Popovich has created a system where, and Brad Stevens, by the way, similarly has created a system. You don't get a lot of ejections and a lot of technicals with the Celtics, and you don't get a lot with the Spurs. It's not about the individual. It's about the team. It's about the system. Golden State now is like second, third in the NBA. Kevin Durant now has got more T's than some teams. A couple nights ago, he got ejections, and after the game, Durant, I thought, sounded kind of like a jerk. Here's Kevin Durant.
First half, I was dribbling up on the right side. I made a left to right cross. He said I carried. You kind of let that go. And he tried to make a bunch of excuses, and I told him he was wrong. And he went to halftime probably with an attitude. So second half, his whole thing was like he's trying to get me. So look at my first tech. I got the rebound, and I dribbled the ball hard, and he teched me up. He was searching for me. He looking to try to take me up to get me back because he's still in his feelings from the first half. That's what's been going on around the league the whole year. It's a bunch of that.
Okay, that's not really what's happening, Kevin. What is happening is what's happening in Silicon Valley in America. I believe it's not a coincidence that Boston is what you would call a brain center in America. There's 51 universities, MIT, Harvard, among them in Boston Metro, right? Because of that, I don't think it's a coincidence the Patriots, the Celtics, and the Red Sox are ahead of almost everybody in their sport and analytics. You become your city. Philadelphia is known for tough guys. The last dynasty they had there was the Broad Street Bullies, their hockey team. With tough guys, we beat people up. You become your city. Okay? Philadelphia, tough guy city. Boston, brain city. San Francisco, by the way, Silicon Valley is separating from America with its wealth. They're now testing programs. So many people in America over the next 15 years will be displaced because of tech that our government is considering adopting programs or creating them where tech companies create almost a bottom-end income for many Americans displaced by tech. It is a brain hub. I don't think it's a coincidence. Silicon Valley, Moneyball, all the World Series for the Giants, and the three-ball revolution in the NBA largely started in the Bay Area. The Bay Area and Boston, America's brain hub centers. You adapt to your environment. You got to be smart to survive in Boston. You got to be smart to survive in San Francisco. Hell, you can't pay rent or own a home. And so I think what's happened is Silicon Valley's a little full of itself. And that's okay. You're young, you're wealthy, you're changing the world. And everybody's telling you you're amazing. You are changing the world. You're 29. You create companies. You're worth $4 billion. Nobody in your social circle is. The world leaders, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, flying to you to ask questions. This is what Golden State's become. Golden State has been told how smart they are and how great they are. Remember Joe Lacob, the owner a couple years ago of the Warriors, was interviewed by the New York Times? Do you remember his quote? I mean, it was incredible. He goes, we're light years ahead of probably every other team in structure and planning and how we're going about things. We're going to be a handful for the rest of the NBA for a long time. We're so far ahead of everybody. And then, the media, which leans left, is gassing the Warriors up on their social consciousness. They're so smart and they're so progressive and, they're light years ahead and they invent. And this team is now throwing mouthpieces, doing the poop thing on the floor with Steph Curry, getting technicals. All technicals is egos. That's why the Celtics and the Spurs don't get them. And I'm not blaming the Warriors. We've just gassed them up and told them how smart they are. And like Silicon Valley, frankly, is smarter than most of us. They are changing the world. They're not wrong on that. But if you tell young people or anybody how smart they are, and then you combine it with success like Silicon Valley young people or the Warriors are having on the court, what you have is this entitlement where they see officiating as out to get us and tedious and insignificant. I mean, listen, all great teams have egos. But when you combine Silicon Valley, dominance on the court, they revolutionized the game. Basketball didn't look like this 8 years ago. It didn't look like this. Centers mattered. You could be on the floor and not be a shooter. You could be a great player, Dennis Rodman, and not be a shooter. Warriors have changed everything. You can't be on the floor if you can't shoot. Tristan Thompson is a complete liability. DeAndre Jordan, the game's best shot blocker, most athletic big, liability late in games. Can't have him on the floor, can't shoot. Warriors are full of themselves. That's why we're seeing all this behavior.
Here's another reason why the All-Star draft selection process should be on TV.
Yeah.
Steph Curry put out on Instagram a picture of his blank slate, his choices for the draft. So he's got all of his options on the left, and then he's got to write in his choices on the right side. And he wrote clean slate. And then look who commented on his Instagram. Draymond Green. He said, today is the day I head into Bob's office, Steph. And then Kevin Durant commented, choose wisely, Steph. So they're all paying attention to this. I think this is great.
Yeah, of course it matters. There's a lot of egos here, man. This is playground stuff. Like, who's going to pick me? Where do I go?
Yeah,
that's why I think it would have been great on TV.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.